house poor? Nah, I want to be house rich. Welcome to the Red Desk. Today, we're talking about how much house is not too much, not too little, but just right. Buying a house will probably be your biggest financial commitment ever. It's a huge deal, and you don't want to mess it up. Otherwise, you'll be stuck in a house you don't like or can't afford, which is not good. You might fall in love with a house that isn't realistic, setting yourself up for what I call house heartbreak. No pressure, but also take your time. How much you can afford depends on three main things. 1, how much your lender wants to give you and for how long. 2, what % of your income would be spent on a particular mortgage. 3, how much risk you want to take on. All the calculations and strategies we're about to cover are ways for you to assess these three things. Before you figure out what you can spend, you gotta know where your money's going. In the housing world, lenders use what's called DTI, or debt-to-income ratio, to figure this out. If you already have a budget, you can easily figure out your DTI. Your DTI is a measure of how much of your total income before taxes goes to existing debt. You can calculate your DTI by adding up your monthly minimum debt payments and dividing it by your monthly pre-tax income. There's no exact number to go for here, but lenders usually like to see a DTI below 50%. To figure out your DTI, add up everything that can be considered debt. Monthly rent or house payments, child support, student loans, car payments, credit cards, miscellaneous. Then divide that by your gross monthly income. If all your payments equal $3,000 and you make $6,000 a month, that's a 50% DTI, which could reduce the options available to you. Now, $2,000 on that $6,000? That's around 33%. Now we're talking. Being able to borrow is one thing, knowing if you should borrow is another. There are all kinds of rules you'll hear people talk about. Never let your mortgage be higher than 30% of your gross. I mean, 35% of your gross? Sorry, 28% of your net. Sheesh. I've been doing this for a while, and the truth is, there's no perfect answer. It all comes down to personal risk tolerance, and everyone is different, like beautiful snowflakes in the winter. Speaking of people telling you how conservative or risky to be, have you heard of the 29-41 rule? This means you should keep your total housing expenses below 29% of your gross and all of your debt combined below 41%. So, if your principal, interest, property taxes, private mortgage insurance, HOA fees, and average utilities divided by your monthly gross income is less than 29%, you're good. If that's $1,500 and your gross is $6,000, that's a 25% DTI. Not bad. But add another $1,250 per month for all your other debts, that's $2,750 total and 45.8% of $6,000. Higher than 41%, which could limit your options. Seeing how much house you can afford comes down to this simple math. So plug in different mortgage amounts and see if you end up above or below those 29-41 lines. DTI is sort of just the beginning. You should also think about other expenses, expectations, loan terms, and down payments. Would you rather have less spending money but a shorter mortgage? Or a longer mortgage with more interest but more spending money? For an idea of how much a mortgage can change depending on how long it is, check this out.
If you buy a $200,000 house with a 15-year fixed-rate mortgage at 5.125% with 20% down, your monthly payments are $1,275.
Now, let's say you still buy the $200,000 house
At 5.125% with the same down payment, but the term is 30 years. Your monthly payments are $871. That's over $400 less a month. But you'd pay over $80,000 in interest over the life of the loan.
You could also get a longer loan without prepayment penalties and pay an extra mortgage payment each year, 13 instead of 12, which can cut years off of your loan. Quick side note, if you do have a prepayment penalty, you would have agreed to it when you closed on your home. Rocket Mortgage has no prepayment penalties. When it comes to mortgages, you've got options. And how much you put down matters too. 20% down means getting out of private mortgage insurance and lower interest rates. But that could mean cutting more into your savings. I can't tell you how much risk to take, but using the Rocket Mortgage Home Affordability Calculator can help. It takes into account property taxes, DTI, monthly expenses, plus everything else you need to make a smart financial decision. And that's why we're here, right? Check out the calculator in the video description. I know it's a lot, but you kind of gotta think about all this stuff. Don't let it paralyze you, but it does deserve some serious thought. My advice? Play it safe. Keep a good emergency fund of a few months' expenses. Make your estimates conservative. Play out the worst case scenarios, and once you've analyzed the risks and feel good about them, make the leap, because homeownership really is amazing. Oh, and don't forget, this gets way more fun once you have a range and location. Then you can start looking for your future home. Ready to see what makes sense for you? Stop listening to me and decide for yourself. See what you can afford at rocketmortgage.com. Click the link in the description below. Thanks for joining us today. If you'd like to see more videos just like this one, you know what to do. Click right here. And as always, like and subscribe. We'll see you next time.